It's time now for County-Wide, a presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. You'll hear about the interesting issues and happenings that affect all our lives. Here's today's County-Wide.
Well, welcome to the program. I'm Brad Miller. It is County-Wide, and we're happy to welcome into studio today from the Northern Arizona VA Healthcare System, Jason Kadah, spokesman, and kind of arranged our chat here today. And our guest, Chris Malderella, going to talk about a program. Is this new, the PACT program?
It's been in effect for a few months now, Brad.
Starting something new, something I think exciting, and something that can be very, very beneficial for our fighting men and women who served us so proudly in uniform, and that is the PACT Act. Am I saying this right?
You're exactly right.
Talk to me a little bit about this, what it is and why it's important for our honored vets to know about this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks, Brad, for having us, by the way, too. This is information that we at the Northern Arizona VA and VA systems nationwide want to get out to veterans, because this is sort of a game changer, if you will. The PACT Act, and it's a little funky to say, but it's officially the name is the Promise to Address Comprehensive Toxics Act of 2022.
Okay.
So basically what that means is it's a new law that expands VA healthcare and benefits for veterans exposed to things like burn pits and other toxic substances. But we like to think of it as environmental. Perhaps your hearing was affected, something like so. Anything environmental. Now this law helps us provide generations of veterans and their survivors with the care and the benefits they've earned and deserve. And the one thing, Brad, I think is really interesting is previously, and I'm sure a lot of veterans feel this way, the burden was almost on the veteran to sort of prove that their condition, health condition, was service related. Again, this is a game changer now. Now we want to hear from them, and this new law basically says, you know what? We want to take care of you because, like you said, they've earned it and deserve it.
So you're reaching out with this information and this program.
Yeah.
Chris, a lot of times when we talk about veterans and some, disabilities and things that kind of follow them after their service, most of us, myself, I think most laymen are going to think about injuries, being wounded in combat, say.
That's right.
We don't think about all of the other things as you're addressing with the PACT Act, the burn pit exposures or the hearing loss or things like that.
Yes, that's correct.
Has this been something that has not kind of gotten the attention?
I would say that is correct. Yeah, okay. The VA has long been providing what we call environmental health registry examinations geared toward research at better understanding environmental exposures of different kinds, including airborne hazards, other chemical exposures that they might have worked with in the Navy and other services as well. And then hearing, as Jason mentioned as well, embedded fragments as well. So we've long provided these services, but over the years, momentum has gained to expand because of the demand and because of the actual data that's showing us that we need to make more services available, more examination opportunities available, more screenings available to learn how we can better care for the veterans. And so that's what this PACT Act is doing, is now opened the door to say, hey, we're going to provide these screenings to every veteran, and that'll help us better understand how we can provide better whole person care for our veterans.
Now, veterans who hear this, or their families, I want to kind of stress that too, that someone may have a vet in their family who's unaware of some of these kinds of things as well. Are these going to be people who have already perhaps struggled, say, with health? Let's just use, for instance, the burn pit. Just as an example, it covers a wide range, as the two of you have described. But if someone has had that kind of exposure, do they already need to be in some way diagnosed, how that affected them physically, mentally, or is that what this is? Is this the first step?
They don't need to have already been diagnosed, although many of them will have already been diagnosed.
Gotcha.
What we're finding is that many of the veterans are already getting the care that they need for this, and then this just adds an additional layer. And then it opens up the net to other veterans who may not have been eligible for care for various reasons.
Okay.
Because this expands the criteria and allows veterans who may not have been getting care to come in and get these screenings. So
Okay.
So the one thing what we really want to stress, Brad, throughout your program here is that even if you're a veteran and maybe had been don't have care or hadn't been eligible for benefits in the past, we really want to encourage them, or if you're a spouse of a veteran,
Right.
to just reach out and inquire. My wife always says all the time, it's worth a conversation.
Sure.
Conversations are free. So there's a couple of numbers and information we'd certainly love to pass along. So if you're good online and you like the computer or even on your phone, it's just a simple web address. And that address is www.va.gov/PACT, PACT.
Correct.
Or Papa Alpha Charlie Tango. So, or there's a phone number as well too. You can call 1-800-MY-VA-411.
Okay.
And again, it just starts with a conversation. So even if you hadn't had services or benefits in the past, or just want to check on them, just have that conversation. The professionals on the other end answer all the questions and get you set up.
If you're unclear on exactly what it is or what benefits may be available to you, as Chris, you said, that weren't previously. So it seems like an awful lot of people could and should take advantage of this. Again, va.gov and then /PACT, P-A-C-T. The phone number is 1-800-MY-VA-411, and we're going to repeat that a number of times before we wrap up. So if you don't have your pencil quite ready, go ahead, grab that, and let's get this information to you. Chris, you mentioned something. You said a couple of words there, screening and things like that. After this initial phone call, that'll help us determine what comes next in terms of a physical visit, say, or what typically.
Sure, that can be one pathway. Right now, every veteran who comes in for a scheduled appointment with their primary care provider, they're enrolled for VA care, they have a scheduled appointment with their primary care team, they come in, they will get automatically this toxic exposure screening.
Okay.
It's been folded into our routine business, and so that's how that will happen.
We've talked about that a number of times here, the toxic exposure. I'm kind of starting to wonder, get the impression, is that a group of veterans that have been underserved, people who have had exposures to this? When you say exposure, you think I know about the burn pits, say, in Afghanistan era, Agent Orange in Vietnam era. Is that folded into this?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we're encouraging all veterans from any era. You could be Vietnam, Gulf War, post 9/11, to just reach out. And when we say screening, as Chris was mentioning a moment ago, it's not intrusive. We're not taking blood from anybody.
Yeah.
It's a 5-minute conversation, and based on the veteran's answers to those questions, we determine next steps and get them into care and or the benefits that may have been in arrears.
Okay, gotcha. All right, there's plenty more to talk about, and we'll do that. Our guest today, Chris Malderella, Jason Kadah, and they are here with Northern Arizona, the VA, and an important new program. One more time, the website, va.gov/PACT, P-A-C-T, or you can call on the phone, 1-800-MY-VA-411. Important information. We'll talk more about it when Countywide returns.
Your neighborhood Jackson Hewitt Tax Service for over 25 years and continues to serve the communities in Northern Arizona. Jackson Hewitt is here to help you file your personal taxes. As laws and situations change, your local Jackson Hewitt Tax Service professional stays updated to serve you. Drop off or make an in-person appointment in Flagstaff. Call 213-8626. That's 213-8626. That's 213-8626.
The award-winning experts at Verde Solaire Services offer the trusted carrier products that help you customize a solution to fit your budget. Verde Solaire is a family-owned business serving the Verde Valley for 38 years with the carrier products you can rely on. Carrier AC systems are trusted to bring energy-efficient, quiet, consistent comfort. Call 928-567-5315 for a free assessment of your AC and air quality needs. Verde Solaire Services, online at verdesolaire.com, a factory-authorized carrier dealer.
Don't let concerns about today's events derail your long-term financial strategy. Hi, I'm Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Matthias Sandoval, and I'm here to help. We can work together to understand the impact of these events and make sure your goals are top of mind. While you can't control the market volatility, we'll focus on what you can control. We can connect in several virtual ways. Start by giving me a call at 634-1044.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Welcome back to the program. Again, it is Countywide. I'm Brad Miller. Chris Malderella, Jason Kadah here today with the Northern Arizona VA, and talking about some important information, a relatively new program begun just this year, and it is called the PACT program, the PACT Act, and particularly aimed at helping veterans who perhaps even unknowingly were exposed to toxins, burn pits, things like that. Chris, you were saying during our break, I'd like you to share it with the listeners, that it seems for vets who maybe don't even know that they had such exposures, that screenings like this are done just typically, even if you don't know that maybe you fall into this category.
That's correct. As we discussed, the toxic exposure screening will be done on every veteran who comes in for routine care appointments.
How is that? What does that mean?
It's a 5-minute or less questionnaire that goes through where they served and if they have any concerns about being exposed to various environmental hazards.
Right.
And depending on how they answer to those questions, we'll direct them to the next steps, which may include additional environmental examinations, which are primarily for research basis, and then also for updating any claims that they may have had. For instance, some veterans may have had disability claims that need to be updated based on the answers to these questions. And so again, that website that we provides information on how to go about updating the claims based on diagnoses that you may have or that may need further evaluation.
Okay, so if you've kind of run into that wall, and a lot of us can when we're trying to seek medical care, whether it's through the VA or privately, come back if you've been stymied.
Yeah, that's right, Brad, because, we get folks that ask us, veterans come and ask us, I've been previously denied on some of my claims. Yeah. This act, again, changes the ball game. We are encouraging, and we want veterans to know that even if you've been denied on a previous, any kind of claim, toxic exposure or otherwise, you're encouraged to file this supplemental claim, and that's what you can find on the website there. Because once that supplemental claim is received, the VA will review the claim under the umbrella of this new law, which again is a complete game changer.
So you could, if you've been stymied or flustered or red taped, you could be in a whole new ballgame here.
Absolutely, and that's if we get nothing else out today, Brad, in terms of a message to the great veterans out there, just please reach out and inquire, because this absolutely changes the landscape.
That's wonderful. I'm kind of focusing here in my own head that we're mostly talking about vets who served in foreign theaters of conflict. And maybe that's most typical when we talk about burn pits, certainly in Agent Orange and those kinds of things. Can it be that folks who've served only domestically, never went overseas during their stints, could suffer some similar exposures, or is this mostly going to be a conflict type of?
It could be both.
Okay.
That's correct. Yeah,
So
some veterans may have been exposed to things, we might say stateside, or in a not necessarily deployed status.
Okay.
But they would still be eligible to have these reviewed. That's correct.
Okay. So again, if you don't know, if you're wondering, you say, well, that's not me. Don't say that's not me.
Yeah. Have the conversation. It's worth a conversation. You can say, Jason's wife says that all the time. It's worth a conversation. It's free.
Well, why wouldn't we take advantage of that? Again, 1-800-MY-VA-411. That's the phone number. And then va.gov/PACT. PACT. That is the name of this program. Let me kind of do devil's advocate here, because we've talked many, many times with different kind of veterans organizations, outreach folks, so many people doing good work outside what the VA does. And that can be, and as you know, difficult to get some of these folks to open up. Mm-hmm. Some are very shy, very reticent to discuss privately, or even, with a doctor or medical provider, their experiences. And it seems like that is always going to be a little bit tricky. We understand that. Mm-hmm. But particularly, don't we want to encourage folks who maybe have not spoken a lot about their service to
Well, yes, and especially now, because it's only beneficial to them, whether they get financial support or additional health care, or even the spouses of veterans. Perhaps you've lost a loved one. Circle back, have this conversation. This PACT Act can change everything. They're not going to get the screening is not going to get deep in the woods, but they do want to find out what you've been subject to. But we just can't emphasize enough that even if you've been reluctant to do it before, or maybe been denied claims before, to just reach out and have this conversation with one of our folks.
And isn't it true that particularly with toxic or chemical exposures, symptoms can occur decades after service? Is that?
Yes, that is correct. Yeah, and that's why it goes all the way back to Vietnam era, Gulf War, post 9/11. The veterans may have been exposed to many things, and the health effects of these exposures may take years to manifest.
Okay.
And so we want to have that umbrella wide to capture these, to let them know that we're listening, that we care, and that opportunities exist, not just for improved, perhaps, disability benefits, but to contribute to the research pool. And also, most importantly, how can we provide better care, whole person care, to every veteran?
Right. Yeah, you could. Someone may have, I don't know, emphysema, say, and not even realize it could be connected to their.
That's correct.
Their prior service. Boy, what a great opportunity to take advantage of this new program.
Yeah, there's something, and I won't read all of them to you, Brad, but, I actually had a graphic with which conditions are presumed to be service connected. So, I mean, again, I have a list of 20, but, asthma, brain cancer, chronic bronchitis, COPD, emphysema, like you said, high blood pressure, cancer of any type, lung disease, melanoma, anything, just, give us a call, have it checked out, because these things may well be covered now.
Yeah, I mean, symptoms that come up years later. Vietnam era veterans are in their 70s now.
Yeah, and this is really interesting, Brad. We serve at the Northern Arizona VA. Our catchment area is 65,000 square miles. So basically, anywhere from when you go up I-17 north from Lake Havasu over to the Hopi Reservation, for example, back over to Holbrook and down here to Cottonwood, Prescott, Sedona. Right. We serve approximately 34,000 veterans at the Northern Arizona VA.
Wow.
Roughly just under half, if I'm not mistaken, are Vietnam era veterans.
Okay.
So that demographic makes up the majority of the veterans we serve. So especially here in our area, that's why it's so important.
And we have a lot of retirement era folks, service or non-service. It makes sense. I mean, it absolutely follows. There's never been a better time if you have, just the wondering, just the curiosity, just not knowing. And particularly, you mentioned, Chris, about family members, spouses, if someone has perhaps passed because of aggravated, illnesses, either straight, directly, or compromised by their wartime service. It seems like a tremendous opportunity.
It is. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let's take another short break. We need to do that. I want to give you, and when we come back, we'll repeat this a couple of times. I don't want anybody to miss this information. va.gov/PACT, PACT, or the phone number is 1-800-MY-VA, and then 411. Our guests, Chris Malderella, Jason Kadah with the Northern Arizona VA. We'll talk again after a short break on Countywide.
Life changes, then it changes again. Predicting the unexpected in life is impossible. That's why it's called unexpected. So when it comes to financial goals, our philosophy is don't predict, prepare. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Matthias Sandoval. A job loss, change in health, or a loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Let's work together to help make sure you're equipped for life's unexpected events. Call our office to schedule a face-to-face appointment.
Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
Verde Solaire, your hometown heating, air conditioning, and plumbing company in the Verde Valley for 38 years, and your trusted North Central Arizona Goodman dealer. Goodman is a name you can trust, designed, engineered, and built in the USA. Verde Solaire offers free in-home estimates on systems that are quiet and affordable. Verde Solaire is locally owned since 1983 and available for all your heating, air conditioning, and plumbing needs. Call 928-567-5315. Visit them online at verdisolaire.com. Better, cleaner, faster.
Taxes, taxes, taxes.
It's that time again. This is Lewis with Rice Accounting Jackson Hewitt Tax Service. We don't sell cars, we don't do hair or wait tables. We do taxes. At Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, we talk taxes and we prepare taxes. Open year-round for tax filings. Jackson Hewitt Tax Service, located throughout northern Arizona. For over 20 years, our local preparers have helped neighbors pay their fair share and no more.
Jackson Hewitt Tax Service in the Tri-Cities at 772-7872. That's 772-7872.
Welcome back to the program. It is countywide as we finish up, and we'll repeat that important information again here as we kind of wrap up the program. My guests today are from Northern Arizona, the VA Healthcare Center based in Prescott, Chris Malderella and Jason Kadah. Chris, you were again saying kind of during our break that this program's been going for a few months now, and we've already started to get some folks signed up or understanding the program.
That's correct. We were talking about how many people have come in for these screenings, and I think we've screened over 1,300
That's great.
veterans so far. Just coming in the routine course of their normal health care, this screening has been added, and we're learning more about how we can provide better care for these veterans.
I would think, pleasantly surprised to find out there is this whole new avenue.
I do believe that has been the consensus, yes.
Of possibilities for them should they be struggling with some of the things that we've talked about here in our program. va.gov/PACT, PACT, and then the phone number again is 1-800-MY-VA-411. And one of you gentlemen, if you would, again, I dial that number, the phone's ringing, someone's going to pick it up, and then what happens?
Well, and then from there, we take the information,
You bet.
And then get them set up for that initial screening. So obviously, we're doing them, at the healthcare center out of Prescott there. 5-minute screening, not intrusive. Again, not taking any blood, not asking you, not giving you a cup or anything. It's a conversation.
When I dial, the information I'll need obviously is going to be my name. Well, I'll need when
service,
and where,
service branch, and everything. And again, even if you filed a claim before and maybe even been denied benefits,
that's important.
That's really important because just anecdotally, we've talked to a few folks, and you've already filed a claim, and VA said they're not going to honor. This just completely changes. This piece of legislation, which came out in August, is just changing the ball game. And like Chris said, we started the screenings on November 1st, and it's and people are using the service. So you'll call, you'll get somebody, they'll set you up, or again, if you feel better, just to go onto the computer, you can file. There's a form there, like everything in the government. There's a form, but as of January 1st. 2023, that's when the VA will start reaching out and setting up those benefits. So we're encouraging folks to do it sooner rather than later.
You bet.
In terms of reaching out to us.
We talk to veterans directly here. We've included spouses in our conversation. I think we should open this up. If you are in contact with a veteran who is a coworker, who is your neighbor, is
Absolutely.
a churchgoer, any kind of contact, I think this information is important. We would like every veteran eligible to find out about this program, and if it works for them and provides them additional benefits or care, well, we've all come out ahead. So I appreciate you fellas coming in today and chatting about this and sharing this very important information. As we wrap up, I'm going to give you that information again. So here is where you can contact the VA about the new PACT program that we've been talking about. It's va.gov/PACT, PACT. The phone number is 1-800-MY-VA 411. Guys, we thank you for what you do all the time, working with our proud vets, and particularly shedding some light on this new program. I hope it's very successful.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us,
gentlemen.
Brad. We appreciate you.
It's Countywide, and we'll see you next time.
This has been Countywide. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday at this time. If you have a topic or guest idea that you'd like to suggest, email us, news@myradioplace.com.